standing here in front of Notre Dame Cathedral, probably the world's most famous example of Gothic architecture. Now the story. Did I ever tell you the story? I didn't tell you the story. Let me tell you the story. You know Quasimodo, he was in another story. Yes. Okay, well, Quasimodo rang the bell here at the cathedral. And his sister wasn't feeling well. He wanted to go and visit her. That's another story altogether. But anyway, he decided to talk to the priest about getting some time off. They said, sure, no problem, but you'll have to find somebody who can ring the bell for you. So he put an ad in the newspaper, hoping, of course, that someone would answer the bell so that he could visit his sister, who wasn't feeling well. Did I mention she wasn't feeling well? I did. Okay. Well, he put an ad in the paper, and the day before he was going to go on vacation, still no one had answered the ad, and he was very concerned. When a knock came on the door, I believe it was that door right over there. Okay? Anyway, knock came on the door, Quasimodo goes down, opens the door, and there's an armless dwarf standing there, just about this big. Just about that big. Anyway, Quasimodo says, what can I do for you? He says, well, I'm here to answer the ad. And he says, which ad? He goes, you know, the ad for the bell ringer. He goes, well, I really don't see how you're qualified, not having any arms and all. But he says, I can do the job. I know I can. He says, well, let's give it a try. It's almost time to ring the bell. Let's go give it a try. So they go up the stairs, 368 stairs altogether, and they get to the top where the bell is. And Quasimodo looks at him and says, okay, well, it's time to ring the bell. And he runs across the bell tower, smashes into the bell with his face, and it goes bong. And he runs across the tower, and he smashes into the bell with his face, and it goes bong. And he runs across the tower, misses the bell completely, slips over the edge, and crashes all the way down to the parking lot below. So Quasimodo runs back down the stairs, all 368 stairs, gets all the way back down to the bottom where a crowd is gathered, and he walks over and there's a gendarme there, and the gendarme says, Quasimodo, do you know this man? And he goes, well, I don't know his name, but his face rings a bell. Now, you may think that's the end of this story, but unfortunately it's not. The very next day when Quasimodo was getting ready to go on vacation but couldn't because he didn't have anybody to take over ringing the bell, but he really needed to see his sister who was sick. Did I mention his sister was sick? I did. Okay. Well, that's another story. But anyway, a knock comes on the door again. I believe, again, that same door. That door right there. And he walks to the door, and sure enough, there's another armless dwarf. An armless dwarf right there where the other man was yesterday. So he takes a look at him and he says, excuse me, can I help you? And he says, yeah, I'm here about the ad. And he goes, you mean the ad for the job? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, that didn't work out that well yesterday. I had a man look just like you, but it didn't work out that well. He says, well, that's my brother, and he's not all that smart. He says, but I can do the job. I know I can. He goes, really? Well, it's almost time to ring the bell. Let's go up. So they go up the 368 flights of stairs to the bell tower. And sure enough, he looks at his watch and goes, well, it's pretty much time to ring the bell. He says, go ahead anytime. So he runs across the bell tower, smashes into the bell with his face, and goes, boom. And he runs across the bell tower, and he smashes into the bell with his face, and it goes, boom. And he runs across the bell tower, misses the bell completely, falls over the bell tower, crashes all the way down the outside, all the way to the parking lot below. And Quasimodo runs down the 368 stairs until he gets to the bottom again, where a crowd has once again gathered, and the gendarme is there. And the gendarme looks at him and says, Quasimodo, do you know this man? He goes, no, but he's a dead ringer for the guy that was here yesterday.